Hello, my name is Alan Jack Henson Jr. I'm sorry I cannot be with you today, but working and supporting myself is most important to me. I am a disability advocate for Legislative District 15, Western Ada County, Boise, Idaho. I would like to welcome you to hear this momentous and most life-changing presentation. I understand you guys are the decision makers, and in more ways than one, you hold our lives in your hands. These recommendations are so important because they not only do they help us live the life that we want and deserve, but they are most important because these are the guidelines that help the recommendations go into place. The work done through CommunityNOW has been very uplifting for me. It is the only process that I've had since 2011 that has helped people with disabilities be listened to and helped them guide. They guide these recommendations. The self-advocates and family advocates involved in this process are some of my closest friends as a direct result of this situation.
There are three categories of recommendations. As each of these work groups met, there just kind of seemed to be a theme that kind of ran through each of them, though they were, different work groups. So these three categories were developed and through all of these shared experiences and conversations. So we start with a person-centered planning and what that process looked like. And when you think about home and community and employment, we're thinking about the person, and the person needs to be the central focus in that. And then how they have a meaningful community and access to that community and the supports that they need that are appropriate for them. And then in order for all these things to work, we need to make sure that there's really good quality assurance. And with these three things, once they're tied together, that's what's really going to give an individual the best quality of life. So we will start off in person-centered planning. So there are 16 recommendations throughout this report, and that are divided in these three groups. And we would love to talk to you for a length of time about all of them, but we kind of just picked through a few to highlight. And so we'll start with recommendation 1. There's a quick summary on pages 4 and 5 of those. And then, of course, there's a lot of supporting information further on in the report. So recommendation 1 is to establish a quality person-centered planning process based on person-centered planning, PCP, best practice. So this one, I feel, this one's really important to me because I feel that this is where it all starts and this is where it all begins. This is where the individual is the focus and we're listening.
We need to have the expectation that everyone can and will communicate, but it should start early, be intensive, and must not be lost over time.
For a while, I've had a notebook where they keep track of everything, and one of the things they used to keep track of in the agency was behavior reports and they also had a notebook for a while when I was in self-direction, and they said that I couldn't see the behavior reports, and I remember one point they said that I couldn't see the notebook because it was private, and I kind of wanted to know if they were accurate or not, which is why I wanted to see them. And they told me no with the behavior reports because it's against policy and with the notebook because it might upset my roommate at the time if it was written against him. And now I know that even if they think that it's not okay to show me things, I feel like now I know that I can be the one to let them know that I need to know what's going on. I have the right to know what's written about me.
Recommendation 11. Implement a tiered linguistically and culturally appropriate training process that is standardized and person-specific to ensure that all staff draw from best practice, experience, and knowledge.
I'll just go on to person-specific training. EVA has very specific training needs that must be built on basic standardized training. Her parents and guardians are the authority for this specific training and its details and nuances that impact her daily safety and health and quality of life. In most details, close is not at all good enough and could threaten her well-being. Mentors must be developed and maintained to secure these standards that are required by her now aging parents on into the future. I'll give you 2 examples, and I would ask that you do your best to take a journey with me and have an experience. All of you, please imagine yourself in a body that does not work as well as in Eva's case. You can only drink if someone holds a cup to your lips and supports your head and rhythmically tips the cup so you can swallow. Not too much, not too little, not erratically, so you can anticipate how much and how fast the liquid will come. So you can do your part and swallow without choking or aspirating. Imagine this happening several times a day with various people holding your head and cup and doing this for the rest of your life. Imagine the trust you must have to do this. Imagine your frustration and fear if the person helping you is not competent or is not paying close attention. Should you or Eva aspirate the liquid while drinking or eating, this is a path that could lead to pneumonia. These are examples that underscore the importance of the nuance of training that makes you and Eva feel safe and secure.
Creating and implementing ongoing quality assurance processes. Recommendations 15 and 16.
I think talking to adults, with adults, can look many different ways. It could be visiting Eva on many different occasions and getting that glimpse of her life and what she looks like. I think we've lost some of that face-to-face effectiveness, and through plan development, quality assurance, there's been many times that Hannah's presence isn't necessary, and it always felt strange at first. Like, don't you want to meet her? You know, and then basically insisting that people meet her, and but I think we do need to meet people even if they cannot speak to us, because they are speaking to us. So recommendation number 16 is a formalized quality assurance processes and implement on an ongoing basis. Use these to assess program effectiveness and to identify and implement improvement strategies. Larkin and I have been lucky to be part of the statewide self-direction quality assurance oversight committee facilitated by Olivia Ibascu, a Medicaid program manager. This group meets quarterly via video conference in the regional Medicaid offices, It has been an opportunity to see how plan development and program implementation differs around the state. When changes have been made in the self-direction program, the Quality Assurance Committee can give important feedback on whether support brokers, individuals, and families understand the changes.
Quality assurance has definitely been my passion due to the barriers and the gaps that I've experienced as we went into, especially supported living. And so my hope is that there would be a mechanism put into place for traditional services that my daughter is in, not just for her, but for all individuals, to be able to look at this area of services like self-direct is experiencing. I just think it's really important. It sounds like they are able to look at situations and issues on a really small level before they become these really large issues.
What personal story stuck with you the most?
And something that struck me, one of the participants in the very first meeting said, "You guys shouldn't do anything about me without me." And this community now gave me the opportunity to sit face to face, to meet guys like Larkin and Jack and Ian, who hopefully will be here in a few minutes, and lots of other folks, and hear directly from them the barriers that they face, the things that interfere with them having full and rich lives.
A lot of things were significant about those stories. How you have to change hearts and minds, how you have to listen and really take the time to listen, because this is a population who so often is talked to and talked about, but very rarely heard.
Thank you to all those who shared their stories and experiences. For more information, visit icdd.idaho.gov.